And we're live! Hello, 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 my friends. Thank you for being here. I'm Nicholas W. Fuller, and this is Person Behind the Pages, the show where we get to know the people that make the things we love. And I'm joined tonight with Isaac MF and Hill.
Not expected.
How you doing, Isaac?
I'm great. Thanks for having me, Nick.
Yeah, my pleasure. Isaac, you just launched the Dragon Legion today. Woo woo! How's it feel?
Woo!
How's it feel?
Oh, it's exhilarating. You carry this thing for years and months in your head. You get it out, and then people are like talking about it. It's the most exciting thing
Right?
I've ever done creatively.
Yeah, sick. Book launch, Tim in the house. Love it. Thanks, Tim.
Thanks.
Yeah, man, you've already got like a couple like pretty solid reviews, right?
Yeah, they started coming in, and I think like everybody in the world listens to Joe Rogan, and he talks about don't look at reviews and comments, but you can't help it. It's like looking at the train wreck. It's like, I want to see the 1 stars. I need to know what are people saying. And then you get the 2s, the 3s, the 4s, the 5s. It's really cool.
You haven't had a 1 star yet, have you?
I think I got like a 1.5 or a 2.
Oh my god!
But what the really cool thing is like that's a reader, and they were informing. This is what I didn't like, and it's like I think as an author or creative, you need to take that feedback and say, okay, maybe that's something.
Yeah, I mean, I love your attitude, but I'm unhappy with that person.
I mean, I didn't look at my reviews for like 3 days after that. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Wow. Oh wow, that is on a loop. I don't know about that. Wow, that's what I say to the one person. 1 star. Wow. Okay. All right. Get out of here with your one. Anyway. No, it's awesome, man. So, what's been kind of the best feeling so far today with the book launching today?
You know what? I think I had a couple of like readers reach out to me, and they made some comments about like what they really liked and what they were reading, and it was just like a very exciting time to see this thing that I wrote, like my thoughts out there in the world, and people reacting to it. And some of it was really positive, and it just was heartwarming to see. So, which I think it was what it's all about, is sharing what you create.
Right.
Yeah, it was a really neat experience.
That's awesome. I'm just don't mind me. I'm just clicking the buttons, making sure we're live on Instagram, posting on Twitter a little bit. Man,
I've always thought like what you do, like in the way that you do it and how you share it across all these platforms, and I think it's amazing because like you can carry on the interview, and like I've jumped on a couple of your lives, like one you have with Adrian and a couple others, and I'm just like, how does he do this? Like I have a hard time like clicking on the SteamYard link. So kudos to you.
Well, thank you. You flatter me. But it's no, StreamYard makes it easy, I think. So it's nothing. Briefly, but I think someone out here, someone that we might know, made a little book trailer for you as part of a cover reveal too.
Oh, who would that be?
Who did that? That
Cool
was pretty fun to do, though. I like. Well, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that you asked me to help with that cover reveal. Yeah. Like, so did you? I know that you put. I think we both posted it on some places, right?
Yep. Yeah. So you posted it, and then were kind enough to share it with me, and I've got it on my my Twitter and pinned in my LinkedIn.
Yeah.
My Instagram.
Pretty sick. So tell everyone a little bit about the Dragon Legion. What's the pitch? What are we looking at in the Dragon Legion? How many dragons are there?
Well, Sam Paisley would say lots of dragons. I would say as many dragons as King Edward had in his Dragon Legion, which would be a big old 0. So the Dragon Legion is about the founding of the Dragon Legion, and which is founded by the Sunborn family, and it's the story of Dre and his beginnings as a member of the Second Legion, which is a legion of criminals, and their escapades in the north and fighting the tribes, and some political machinations and betrayals, and some imposing doom from across the sea. So there's all kinds of stuff going on, and it's really Braveheart meets the French Foreign Legion of adventure.
Nice, nice. Sounds sick. Sounds sick. Wander Wendy M says, "Wait, there's no dragons." Yep, yep. No dragons on this one.
I'm sorry. It was, I did have like early beta reader feedback, and they were like, "You might want to rename this." I was like, "It's too late. I already had a cover date."
I'm all in on the Dragonless Dragon Legion.
Yeah. I'm sure there'll be like a 0-star Amazon review that's like,
yeah, where are the dragons? What the hell? Right? There was right? Right? That's so funny. Did you see so briefly I want to talk a little bit more about the book and your process and that sort of thing, but also you're into Spiffbo, self-published fantasy blog offer. Do they still call it blog off, or is it fully transitioned to book off? I don't know, but
I really don't. And like, full disclosure, I spent like 24 hours thinking I wasn't in, and so like,
yeah,
blown away.
Right. Yeah, the way you got in was a little unusual. I mean, the whole thing's unusual this year. It's literally not the usual where they do the lottery and dragons on the cover, dragon on the name. Psych.
It's like, to be fair, it's a banner for an army, but I mean for a legion. So
Yep. So you applied for the lottery for Spiffbo and you didn't make it in, but then they found someone that didn't meet the requirements and they bumped them, and then you were in, right?
They found like 9 people, because like, so Mark Lawrence was making these posts as they went through and combed through the applicants, and it was like, this person's out, this person, or no, someone is out, this person is in, someone is out. They got to 309 or 311. I'm 309. So like 9 people were either disqualified or ejected. And then I got a notification the next morning from one of our friends, Caden, and he said, "Oh, yeah, actually, you're in." And I sat down and I was like, "What? True? Like, how did this happen?" It was, it was really cool.
So sick. Nick in the chat, he's also a Spiffbo author. He's in it too, so that's pretty sick.
Oh, congrats, Nick. That's fantastic. Thanks for dropping by.
Tim, are you now? Tim, I don't think you have a book out right now. I think so. You're probably not out in Spiffbo, right? But, yeah, man, that's pretty amazing. Oh, and so have you seen Mark Lawrence's word cloud of all the different titles that he made?
Yeah, dragons right in the middle. I'm capitalizing on the marketing of dragons right now, but hey.
Right. Yeah, so funny. Yep. Another psych. Yeah. You're like, "Oh, I'm one of the dragon." Just kidding, got you. Yeah.
Actually, that's what I really mean. Here's my military historical fantasy.
Yeah. Cool. So, all right. But I mean, I love the concept of the story, this multi-generational kind of struggle to reclaim power and everything. That sounds epic and solid, and I dig it. How I love also the like Braveheart meets French Foreign Legion. That sounds sick. I like everything kind of going on here. How long did you spend writing this book? Has it been like, or are you also kind of like me? I remember vividly in 5th grade, I was writing stories about like science fiction stories with aliens based on my neighbor's basset hounds. And gratefully, like, nobody has seen those stories and they're probably gone. But like, were you that kid writing stories also, or did you like kind of, was this a COVID project or what?
So like, yes, and yes. So first memories like of like wanting to write, I was a kid and I was like filing these little filing cards, and they look something like,
oh no, what?
They look something like this. I keep them around for notes.
Okay.
I remember filing them and be like, I'm gonna write a outline on this, whenever, 8 years old.
Yeah.
Fast forward to like grade 3. In my school, we were smaller school. We had a large population, and there were these portables, like there were mobile classrooms, and they plopped a couple of them outside the school, and that's where we went to our class. I remember like vividly sitting down outside of them and like writing a story on loose leaf, the pencil or pen, and it was about an orc that found the One Ring in lava when Mount Doom exploded, like afterwards, like, and that was I remember the story that I started writing. So stopped writing for a little bit. Fast forward to high school, I wrote, let's just say some werewolf stories.
Okay.
That alone for right now, inspired by, of course, probably, Twilight or werewolves. We're gonna leave that one.
Okay.
Fast forward again to the pandemic, where I sat down and seriously considered, what do I want to do with my life? And I decided I wanted to tell stories and write. And my very supportive wife said, well, get to it. It's time to start.
Right what now. Are you doing, slacker? Like,
yeah. If you're going to write, go for it. And so she's been just an amazing support in this journey. And so I've probably been working on the Dragon Legion for a couple of years. I started writing in earnest in 2020, really working on craft and diving into all of those free online resources. I joined a writing group a year ago, an in-person one. Joined another writing group recently called the Break-Ins. You may have heard of them, Nick. And so from there, like, really just incubated and inspired by everybody I've been working with, yourself and Josh, Adrian, Scott, Sam, Caden, everybody. There's just the list of the Break-Ins.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, you want to talk about an inspiring group of debut writers to hang out with. Yeah, the Break-Ins are killing it. Awesome to see. It's briefly too, it's amazing that like what the heck is a Break-In? So Nick, it's just okay. Well, if anyone else doesn't know, it's just like it's a group of 16 debut authors that everyone's debuting either last year or this year, and Isaac and I are both one of them. And it's just been cool to see. So 16, and I think 7 are in Spiffbo now, which is pretty amazing because not even everyone has their book out, myself included, and Callum, and so amazing.
And talk about like some amazing short stories he is giving away. Column lot.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't follow him, jump on there. Right. Hey.
Yes. NJ Alexander, I am a Break-In. Yeah. Hey man. Hey, what's up? Good to see you. Good being here. Really appreciate that short you wrote. Let me know, by the way, where you at with being able to share that short to the world. I want to know. I thought that was did you read that, Isaac? The short that he wrote? Well, I mean, it was a trip, right? But I really enjoyed it.
Yep.
I enjoyed it. Hey, what's up, Brian? Thanks for dropping in. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah. It's out now. Oh shit, dude, you gotta send me a link. That's awesome. I'm excited. Okay. On the Instagram, Cheryl M. Wilt says, congrats on publishing your first book. I'm very proud of you, and I'm not just saying that because I'd like a free copy, even if it's Dragonless.
That's my sister-in-law, so thank you, Cheryl.
I mean, yeah, I bet she might get a free copy,
Probably.
That's awesome.
She has some connections.
Yeah, she knows some people, right? That's cool. So you've been working on this one for a while, supportive wife, and again, like, so what was I know there were messages on our Break-Ins chat this morning of like, oh, it's Dragon Legion Day, right? Like, what would have been some of the messages that you've got today?
And a lot of the messages were just, congratulatory. I've been kind of talking about this and working on this for a couple of years now. Maybe not always aiming at, publishing this in this way until probably the last year. I'd done a number of novels in the last couple of years written, and submitted a couple of them on submission to agents a number of times, and then took a turn and thought, okay, I think that there's interest in fantasy novels, and a couple of my friends read the book and said, yeah, you've got something with the story here. You need to work a little bit on the writing. So I went to work on the craft and ended up thinking, I think self-publishing is for me. I think
Nice.
I can find an audience, and I love fantasy and sci-fi. And so I just thought, there's got to be people out there like me that want to read this too.
Yeah, and now you're in Spiffbo. Now there's definitely going to be some people reading it. Yep, that's sick, man. What other stuff were you writing? Were you writing some stuff that's not fantasy and sci-fi?
So yes. So the first book that I decided, okay, I'm going to write a book now, because everyone conventional suggestion is you should write short stories, and I've written a lot of short stories as well. They're great. They're just not the same storytelling medium as a novel, right?
No, they are not. No, they are not.
So I started writing about Art, who was a spy in World War II in Egypt, Cairo.
Sick. Turns
out, like 12,000, 25,000 words in, I was really writing about Indiana Jones. That's fine. I was like, wait a minute, what's going on here?
Yeah, I've heard of this guy.
Yeah. In the Sunborn series. Oh, sorry, that's my cat. Missy.
Hi, kitty.
A couple of them.
Hi.
Missy and Izzy. So I wrote, after that, I wrote the first kind of entry into the Sunborn series, which the Dragon Legion is a part of. And that's a trunk book. That'll never see the light of day.
Oh, really? Okay.
And then, actually, no, sorry. Just before that, I went into my first NaNoWriMo, and I wrote a fantasy novel with, magic swords and etc., which was atrocious. Like, I printed it off. I read the first couple of pages. And I was like, this is terrible. No one's ever reading this. And then most recently, I wrote, just before I started work in earnest on the Dragon Legion again, I wrote a magical realism fantasy book about a street magician who loses his body, has it stolen, finds some other magical things going on, and has to come up with a plan to steal his body back, and finds undercovers a plot to kill the queen, and has to foil said plot. So I got that on the back burner after I finished the Sunborn series.
That sounds sick. That sounds. I mean, yeah, there's some stuff going on there. That sounds pretty fun. Then what's the state of that right now?
So inspired by H.G. Wells, I keep this on my desk because I just love the whole visual. The state of that is its completed novel. It's gone through one revision, and a writer friend of mine from my other writing group, Wendy, helped me with a second draft. So once I have time after this series, I'm gonna go through and do some editing and probably self-publish that series too.
Sick. Very cool. All right. Briefly, what's up, Caden dog? How you doing, man?
I'm gonna
drop him in just for a little.
To drop in to give you a nice congratulations.
Yay!
So much, man. Appreciate you dropping in.
All right, I'm gonna take you off stage for a while, Caden, because I want to keep just chatting with Isaac one-on-one for a little bit. But then
I'll just be listening to you.
Perfect.
See you soon,
Thanks
man.
for being here, buddy. The break-ins. It's so nice. It's good to have friends, Yep.
Yeah.
And Caden also a Spiffbo author now. You can say that forever, Caden. Pretty sick.
It's so cool too, because like we talk about a lot. Rising tides lift all ships, and it's such an isolated sport, writing, and to have a community around you, like whether it's an in-person writing group or the break-ins or the online community of indies, it's been an incredibly supportive group. So appreciate everyone that's helped.
Man, yeah, no joke. I'm old. I'm so old, Caden. It was like 15 years ago I started trying to write my first book, and Caden was like 2. No, just kidding.
Yeah, exactly.
But like, I would, yeah. At that time, I found it so isolating because I wasn't a part of any community, and it's much better trying to like doing this and getting to know cool people like NJ Alexander, and and chatting with the break-ins. It's awesome, much better that way. If you're a new to writing, definitely recommend find some friends. Get yourself a group. So, all right, I'm really interested to talk with you, Isaac, about your hatred of spelling and editing, but I feel like that's a good one we can talk about with the rest of the break-ins a little bit later.
So bad.
So I want to, okay, let's share like a fun personal story before we get into everyone else. Tell me about the beer boat you built. I want to know the whole story of the beer boat you built. Can you share that with us, Isaac?
All right. So, of my eclectic hobbies, I once decided to build a boat.
Like you do. Who doesn't think to build a boat, right? Just on yeah. Okay. All right. Great.
No background in boats. Like, I wrote a couple of boats. I've been on some boats, but I just decided one day that, why can't I? So I printed off some plans from like a 1960s or 70s popular mechanics for kids PDF that I found online with like a little diagram and some like, here's how you buy this in the 60s, and it cost 32 cents. Very expensive wooden hardware, by the way. And so I started building a boat. I think it was a 12-foot or a 16-foot. No, it was a 12-foot because I had to stick a 12-foot 2x10 in my Honda Civic through the back window and put like a red flag as it stuck diagonally out through the back of my car, and built that boat. Got it in the water once. There's some pictures. I'll post them eventually because they're quite funny. It floated. It was great. And I summarily turned it around, gave it / kind of sold it to some friends of the family. And then about a decade later, recently, I went to a wedding, and my boat was repainted red on the ground full of, let's say, adult beverages and ice for the wedding event. So there's also pictures of that, which is just hilarious.
I love it. So you build a boat, you sell it to a friend, and then at your wedding, like later, it's just your boat is on the land filled with ice and beer.
Yeah, ironic that it floated on the water and now it's full of water. Like
right. When you saw it this way, were you like, what was your reaction? Was it just like positive, or was it like, what the hell did he do with my boat? Like,
no. There was some good ribbing going on, and I was kind of like, they gave me a couple of hints that it was going to happen, so I thought it was funny. I posed for a picture. It was great. It was cool to see.
I love it. That's pretty wild. So also, while we're talking about eclectic hobbies, I understand that you've also built yourself like a blacksmithing forge.
Yep. So I have a fully functioning blacksmith forge. I have a coal forge, and I have a propane forge, multi-burner propane forge. I have like a 275-pound anvil. I've got like a 125 as well, and all the tools that go along with it.
Have you made much with it?
So I made like quite a bit over the years.
I hear my dog like whining. Do you hear it or no? Okay.
Just a bit, but like my cats have the zooms, so you can probably hear that too.
I don't hear your cats at all, but okay. Sorry. So you made a little bit.
Yeah, and so then I thought I would get into bladesmithing because, fortune fires.
Hell yeah. Yes.
But it turns out that bladesmithing, making blades, whether it's axes or knives, etc., is actually only about 50% forging and 50% sanding. So okay. Like, I wasn't into grinding and sanding for like hours on end. I was like, I don't think this is like, so whenever I've forged in the last couple of years, it'll be for kind of like more rudimentary type forging. So my friend and I made like a production run batch of fire pokers and sold them because we thought that would be kind of funny. Like, I think we made 50 or 75 of them and sold them for like Christmas gifts. It was quite fun for a little while. And
that's pretty sick.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have it still, but I had a friend that made a forge, and he took a railroad tie and turned it into a knife. He heated it and twisted it to make the handle, and then like flattened it for the blade. And like that was pretty rad. If you like, do you still have any of the blades you've made? I guess it sounds like you made at least a couple to go through the process and be like, this is actually not that great.
Oh yeah, like I got one out the other day and was using it for something, and like it still cuts, and I learned about the tempering process and heat treating and fitting handles, and yeah, it's like it is fun. You just you have to be committed and patient, and I keep all that stuff. I've got it all in the shed or in the other workshop.
Isaac, here's what I want. Are you ready?
Yep.
One day you need to have a Kickstarter for a special edition of your book, and like a special super high tier needs to include a handmade sword.
Oh, that is so cool. Like, what would it be?
Right?
Like, it would have to, yeah.
It's got to be something inspired from the book,
Oh, I thought about that. I thought like I should make, so like in later books I've written a fair amount in this series. Dre has a Bowie knife called Drago, and I've kind of
man.
I kind of like I've got it forged, like it's freshly forged from a couple of years ago, and I was like, oof, I should like make a batch of those.
Dude, yes, NJ's here agreeing. Do it. Oh my god, that'd be so sick.
So the other thing I've like really thought about recently, and I was talking to Josh about this, one of our other break-in friends, and there's an author named Jack Carr who writes thrillers. Also, I love thrillers; they're a lot of fun. He sold tip-in pages, cover pages inside of his new books that have been shot. Like I have one in my bookcase that's been shot by a .50 caliber sniper rifle, and then the one before it was like an AK-47. I may have bought them both, and so I thought, I'm into archery. It'd be cool to do like a batch of like bookmarks or something that like in the Kickstarter, like I shoot an arrow. I really, really neat. It'd be fun.
Dude, I love that idea. That's really cool. That's man, I like that.
Because I don't know if I can do tip-in pages, like and then get them to do that. But like I was like, I could do like a bookmark. That'd be fun in a Kickstarter.
Right.
Like,
dig it.
Yes, Diamante. I don't know.
Yeah. True. All right. What about a knife without a blade inspired by a book called Dragon Legion Without Dragons? Just send them a handle. Yeah, perfect. Also, new T-shirt design.
Oh, this?
Oh yeah.
Oh, wait.
Ooh, what? Oh, wait a minute. Can you show us the back of that shirt?
I can. Yes.
Let's see it. Bam! Look at that book cover on the T-shirt.
Yeah. My thank you to my wife who got me this lovely T-shirt in preparation to launch day and my first real author interview.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Breaking tees. Yeah. So Harry McMichael, I assume, must be family Isaac, because Harry McMichael asked, Mom wants to know if she's going to get a signed copy.
Well, I mean, maybe it might be a Kickstarter down the road. We can get a signed copy.
Come on, Mom, back your son. Like, All right. Good fun. Briefly, I'm curious about this, Isaac. Before we add Caden here, you used to take a lot of Instagram pictures. What kind of pictures were you taking on Instagram? Was it Bookstagram, or was it totally different? Was it related to boats? Was it related to what pictures did you take?
So I just really truly enjoyed taking pictures and sharing them. So I've done a fair amount of travel.
Nice.
For work, for pleasure, especially inside of the province. And I used to do a lot of fishing, fly fishing, and
nice.
Travel for that. So beautiful rivers and mountains and valleys. Oh, there's Izzy making another debut. And so I really enjoyed landscapes, mountainous terrain, and then just interesting objects. So I'll probably share like a fair amount of those on my author Instagram as we go, just because I just do enjoy sharing them, and just the art and setting and lighting and the focal points of pictures. It's an enjoyable art form.
Nice. I appreciate that. That's pretty. And I mean, while you're fly fishing, you got to have some pretty nice places to take pictures of, because I've never seen like a good person fly fish next to a dump. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's always a gorgeous place. Hi, kitty.
Yeah. The mountains in Nova Scotia, and the rivers and valleys are just incredible. So can't say enough good things. A lot of famous people come and fly fish in the Highlands of Cape Breton.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mike Molman's in the chat. Says, can't wait to talk to you next Tuesday. Thanks for hanging out, buddy.
Thanks, Mike. I look forward to it. I got your email, and I thought, I've made it. This is awesome.
Oh, yeah? Did he like reach out to you to get on the show? You're fine. Yeah, go ahead. Take care of the kitty. Take care of that kitty. Hi, kitty. What is it about kitties? Like, I feel like they know when someone's on a Zoom call, right? They've tuned in since the beginning of the pandemic, and they're like, "Ooh, I'm gonna put my butt on the internet."
It's like, I was just talking to my wife. I was like, I'm gonna make my debut interview, and I'm sure the cats will too. You can't stop them. They know.
Can't do it. Yep. So did Mike Molman email you to be on his show? Is that what happened?
So there was I think it was a call in the maybe the Facebook group. And they just said, if you're a participant, feel free to sign up. And Mike was kind enough to do some hosting of an author panel next week, and I'll be on Tuesday night, I think. Sick. I get the timelines mixed up, maybe 7:30 or 8:30, something like that.
Sick, pretty cool. Yeah. I remember the first break-in I talked to was Adrian, and he emailed me to get onto my little show to go talk about Mushroom Blues, and I was like, what? Yeah, that's when I felt like I had, something I was doing was working,
Yeah, talk about our break-in team has the most unique writing, Column's writing, Adrian's writing, Scott's story coming up on I think it's the 29th, just incredibly unique stories. Some of these authors, it's just incredible.
All right. And speaking of, let's add Caden. All right.
Yeah. Talk about unique organ harvesting. Who would have organ harvesting?
Who would write that crap?
What? Oh, you're actually on camera. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah. Just hear me talking to myself, being like, this guy sucks.
What a freak. That's funny.
That's what he mutters to himself when he's on camera.
That's so funny.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. I'm just counting my word count for the day after I was taking a little break and getting rid of this right now.
Interesting. So how do you keep track? I have an Excel. What do you do?
I have the Great Value. I don't even. They have Walmart in Canada. I was going to say the Great Value version. I've got Google Sheets, so I just put it on there.
So do I. Never mind. I forgot. I don't have real Excel. I have fake Excel.
That's the thing. I don't care. So I write on Google Docs, and I actually really like it because it loads on my phone pretty easily. So book 2 right now, just at 12-point font is at 367 pages, which is a lot. And it honestly loads on my phone like that. I wait a second, scroll to the bottom.
On Google Doc?
Yeah.
Wow.
Which on my old laptop, it would freeze when I'd open the document. And it's working now.
Same.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, but, Google Docs tend to not like big documents. I have a different Google Doc for every single chapter, and I'm writing really short chapters.
Yeah. I had that I had that problem when I was editing the Dragon Legion. I got notes back and comments, and I couldn't open up the full package. I had to get it split in half from my editor, and I was like, this is a crazy problem to have. It's a Google document. What are we doing here?
Yeah, that's what I did with my editor too. She sent it in chunks, and so I'd have to delete, paste. And I've since got a Mac, so I've actually considered getting Scrivener because I know a lot of people like it. But I just love having it easy on my phone. Yeah. Just for side stuff. And the one thing with Scrivener that I am attracted to is I know that some people can have their own organize their database, whereas I have a document that's my own wiki, and it's just a long mess of notes, and I have to like dig through there to find something that I wrote about.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. My friend RJ has a Scrivener, and I'm thinking the same thing, because like hers is so organized. I'm like looking at my disaster of one page to rule them all.
Yeah.
It's like,
See, I like Scrivener, but I have a writing group when we meet every week, and like that's actually really good for my accountability and try to share something with them, and then they give me feedback, and that's great. And for that, I think there's nothing better than Google Docs, for getting feedback from and sharing it with other people.
That is true.
Yeah.
So
can you export? Like, is there an export? Like, there's obviously an export function, like, or is it just clunky?
You can, but I don't want to have to write it in Scrivener and then go export it to Google. That's the other thing too, is like I always think that I'm going to write on my desktop, and then that's the worst place for my productivity. Like, so my laptop is better, but sometimes I might bang out like a few words on my phone, and like, so that sort of flexibility with Google Docs also is really nice,
Yeah.
And Isaac, did you use Atticus?
Yeah.
Blue Dog. We all know him.
I've read the Blue Dog.
What an experience. I was like, why didn't I buy Vellum? What am I doing?
It hurts sometimes. Like there were many times where I'm like, this page will look so ugly in my book, but I'm just done. Like I want it out there. I'm sick of formatting, but it all came together kind of.
When we're all like,
right.
Down the road, 47 books out, we'll all buy Vellum. Like, we'll all invest,
47 books, right? All right. I got one more guest joining me here. Unannounced guest for you, Isaac.
Okay.
I don't know if you, we'll wait for him to actually turn on his camera, because I don't think he's done that. But I'm
in Utah?
No. And I'm not in Utah either, but bam, NJ Alexander. What's up?
Hello.
Hey, everybody. What's going on?
Hey.
Pulled in unannounced.
Yep. Awesome. So NJ, you got to say like one nice word about the Dragon Legion, and it can't be a joke about there being no dragons, and then you're off the hook. You can say whatever you want.
Say one nice word about it.
Yeah. He debuted today. We got to say something good, right?
Yeah. Listen, I'm sure it's amazing. I haven't read a word, but I'm sure it's awesome.
Perfect. Yeah. We can say congratulations on your debut, right?
Yeah, congratulations. No, I'm happy for you. It's an exciting day.
Right. Appreciate it, man.
Very exciting day.
All three of you are in Spiffbo now. That's pretty cool, man.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So, like, do you want to start duking it out now, or how do you want to?
Are any of us in the same group? I don't think so.
I'm on. No, I don't. Philip Chase.
Yeah, you're Philip Chase, and that's the thing. I loved when he posted that. Like, now I'm always like scrolling on there, and I'm with Queen's Book Asylum, which I know nothing about. Like, I think they might be new this year, and so like I'm always on their page, seeing like something if I can find out like what the reviewer likes, just to like scope things out. And I know of 2 people in my group, and so I actually like reached out to them, just like congratulating them. It's cool to see where things are at. So I don't know, it's so cool. Like, just the feeling of it that we're all just here. It reminds me of high school sports again, like seeing people like the lineup here, like, oh, this one. And I just can't wait to see reviews start coming out, and like even when I eventually lose out, just to see like the finalists, and because you never know, like it can be a career making thing. When Mark Lawrence posted today that I think Senlin Ascends has like 300,000 reviews, and that was not even a winner. And you never know where this, like, it could just give it to that golden reviewer that loves it.
Right.
Maybe it doesn't win, but it gives it to someone else that'll enjoy it.
Yeah. The community is incredible. Like, there are none. Just generous.
Yep.
I mean, it's both really awesome and really terrifying. I didn't hear of the blog that I was a part of either. And I saw that my book was the first one they were reading.
Yeah. Right. Oh man.
Who are you with?
Yeah.
Oh, the weather facts report.
Okay, like that's one that I've heard of. I don't know anything about it, but
No,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
excited for it. But it was funny. I see that. I'm like, why am I the first one? What did I do?
Don't cut me! Don't cut me! Yeah.
It's
Whatever.
cool,
Right.
but it's kind of scary at the same time.
Right. No, I get it. Yeah. Pretty exciting. I totally agree with your comment though, Isaac. Like the community and the way that this is like kind of bringing so many people together in this cool way, and it's neat to see that you guys, are in this competition where like people that I'm kind of like, oh, they're here, like Rob J. Hayes, right, Fletcher. They've been in these competitions for a while. Now you guys are all doing it.
I know, like, and when people are posting, like, there's some amazing books that didn't make it, and we've all talked about it. It's the luck of the draw, but like Michael Fletcher had a book that just didn't make the cut, and it's like he could have just won that, and it's crazy stuff, but
yeah,
we'll see what
really
happens.
Feels like rubbing shoulders with the giants in competitions like this. Like I find it just incredible. It's so cool.
Yeah,
right.
Really cool. I'm just happy.
Mike, right. Mike saying Esme reads about a book a day. By June 1st, when the contest starts, she will have read about 10 of the books already, but the reviews will come at a snail's pace. Right. How does she do that, man?
Impressive, that's for sure.
Huh?
Oh.
It just like blows my mind. I can't begin to fathom reading a book a day.
I know, like sometimes I before I got really involved in the reading community, I mean, because I listen to books while I run in the morning, and I could go through an audiobook, like a normal size one, maybe like one a week,
right?
One every week and a half. And like I could get like 4 books in a month, and that's like good. I feel good. One print book, really, but like these people, I don't know. And I like, even if I had all the time in the day to read, I'm not saying like, oh, I don't have time to read. It's just I can't sit and just read that much. I admire people with that, and they can get so focused and absorb it all. Reviewers, different breed.
Right. Go read books is in the chat. What's up, man? Yeah.
That's my guy.
Pretty cool that you're around here too. Yeah. I guess you're gonna be reading. So what we're trying to say is we love you. You're very handsome. Oh man, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you being here.
Oh, he also loves Red Rising. Excellent.
Yes.
Oh, good.
And that's good. Like, it's super cool to see a lot of the reviewing teams. Like, there are some that I'm not as familiar with, but then you've got like Philip Chase, who is just an awesome content creator, and he's got such a cool team, like a lot of big names on there. And then Captured in Words, like he's one of the earlier booktubers that I kind of discovered when I first discovered like Daniel Green. He's got some really quality content, and to see that he's leading a team is pretty cool. Like we've got it just going all around the community.
Right.
Yeah.
By the way, also Ryan, what's up, man? Good to see you too. Thanks for
Oh
hanging
yes.
Hey, Ryan.
What's up, Ryan? How we doing?
Yeah. NJ, we were talking just before you kind of jumped in about they both like track their word counts on Excel. Is that something you do too?
Excel.
Google
Wow.
Sheets.
Okay, excuse me.
I'm sorry.
Actually.
I use Excel so much in my day job that I don't even want to look at it when I'm outside of my day job. All right. I try to avoid Excel whenever possible. Wait, so how are you tracking word counts in Excel or Google Sheets? How does that work? Sorry if this is a repeat.
No,
I just got a grid. Like I have month, like, so like, January, February, March, April, and then I just fill in how much, and then it will total it up. And then,
but like every day it's just every day that you're writing, you just drop in like how many words you wrote that day.
Yeah.
Right?
And so like I try to get at least 1,000 in. Certain days are longer, certain days don't make it. And it's just more for accountability. Like I guess I do get kind of hard on myself when I don't make it that day, and I'm like, I could have done it.
Yeah.
But just looking at like the end of the month, I love seeing how I did. And like release month was hard. Just because I was doing so many edits, and same with March, because I was doing all the edits for Beast Call. So it's like those I can't really look at, but like April was a solid month. It was very writing focused, and I could see like, if I'm just going at this pace that I've been doing, this is what I'll get. Do I need to work harder, more? Yeah.
That makes a ton of sense. I definitely don't use Excel, but I definitely do track my word counts. Like that's although if I did Caden's method, I would probably look at my numbers and be like, wow, I suck, because it would go January 0, February 0, March 0, 0, 0, 0, and then 1 month I'll have like 100,000. That's typically what I do.
That's
Bro, really? Like 100,000 in a month? Like, that's got to be high.
I absolutely binge write. Like the last time I actually wrote a full novel was in 2020, which is weird to think about.
Is that when you wrote Fogbound?
No, that's when I wrote the 4th book of that series. They're all written, by the way. I have to like actually do things with them.
Oh, that's amazing.
I did the last book is like 150,000 words, and I did that in 6 weeks.
What the hell? Get out of here, dude. I don't like you anymore. I thought we were friends, and you come in here and like disrespect me like that.
It's things like that that just make me want to like be a hermit for a month and just like make myself cry by existing because it hurts so much, and just like bust out like 3 books.
Yeah.
And just be like, a month later, it's like, look, I've done it.
That's what I did. It was painful, but it worked.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Wow.
You know what I hate about the Excel or the sheets, sorry, is like in editing when you're like, I went down 172 words today.
That's what I wanted. Like, I mean, because I love the idea of like the accountability of the Excel sheet and like kind of gamifying it. And like literally, I don't know if you guys know Jed Hearn, but one of his latest videos is like literally just talking about doing this, and he's like, oh, it works for me. And like, great, cool, I'm gonna adopt that. And then like, what do you do when you go and you start doing some editing and you're like, oh, I got nothing, like
it's painful, but it's like that's the price you pay. But like the tracking of it is liberating over a long time. Like I used to just like write it in my notebooks. I've got like an affinity for moleskins and it's my jam.
Nice.
But started tracking about a year ago actually. And it's like, I think the last I looked like, so I finished a book, I finished editing a book, and I finished my novella. And it was like, I get to like look at all of that work in one place. It's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I hate that your answer is just like, yeah, that sucks, but you deal with it. Like, but that is cool that you track and you get to see the success and everything. What as we're speaking about editing, I'd love to hear a little bit more. Like, and Isaac, you said that you hate spelling and you hate editing. So let's hear about that, and then we can all kind of talk about like, editing and how much we hate it and that sort of thing.
So like, let's say spelling, I've never been good at it. And it's ironic. I just published a book, so here we are.
Right.
But the editing, so like when I first started writing books, like I'd just be like, "Oh, there, I'm done."
Draft one is perfect, right? Yeah.
So, and then like I remember like talking to my wife about it. And I was like, "What's next? Like, what do you think? Like next book?" She's like, "Have you thought about editing the one you just finished?" I'm like, "Well, why would I do that?"
Excuse me.
Yeah. It's dinner. Why are we talking about that? Ruined my episode. So, but then like I joined an in-person writing group, joined the break-ins, and like, okay, like the real authors, they edit. And so like, this is gonna sound really bad. I took like a week off. Like my wife was doing some traveling, and I took a week off to edit this novel alone.
You say this sounds really bad. I think this sounds really awesome. I don't know.
So I've learned to like love the outcome and like be excited by like, okay, this is a skill I'm working on now to edit stories, and I'm starting to enjoy it. Not 100% there, but writing's still so much more fun.
Do you Isaac? Do you have? I mean, obviously you do in the Moleskine. You write like your word counts. Is there any way that you like kind of track your progress in editing, and then like do you edit from front to back, or do you kind of jump around like kind of focusing on different things, or?
Yeah. So in the Dragon Legion, I started like putting sticky notes on like my wall and like taping them and like ripping them off with the paint, which was terrible. And like I'd finish a chapter and I'd be like, I'm done that one. It was just like the gamification of like seeing progress. So fun.
Nice. Mike says I love editing. The first draft sucks. Mike, don't tell Isaac that, because
I learned. I promise I edited the Dragon Legion.
And publish your first draft, sure.
I know.
Ooh. I used to bring my first draft to my writing group, and they've kind of beat me into submission. They're like, you can't just come in here with a bracket that says exciting things here, like that's not.
Oh, are you like one of those like leave sections to add later?
Sometimes, especially like in the early draft, like I do not write linearly. I also kind of I call it like I write in layers. So in my early draft, like it is very dialogue heavy and sort of focused on some of the action also, but like which is kind of fun for me, but it totally lacks in like setting, especially. So like I have like 4 things that I focus on when I'm doing an initial editing pass. It's like setting, adding some like metaphors and similes, also more internalization, like a little bit of their sort of thoughts, as not just sort of dialogue, but like what are they thinking, because that's what's really unique in novels. You can't show that internalization like a movie or that sort of thing, so you got to make sure you have some of that. And then also body beats in my dialogue. There are times when like just they said this and like it right, and that's something that one person in my in-person writing group was Diane. She's like, you need body beats, like there's a lot of difference between how you say piss off, it could be piss off or like piss off, they're all different, right? And like this makes a lot of difference. So I'm like, all right, you've made your case. So yeah, when I'm like doing that first editing pass, I'm looking for where can I insert setting, where can I insert metaphors and similes, where can I like insert body beats that are going to add but not overdo it,
Yeah, that's interesting. It's an interesting way to like how we take apart storytelling to layer it.
Yeah,
and are you like an adder inner too? Like, are you like a leave comma with add this?
Was it for Caden? I think
NJ or Caden.
Oh. Sorry, I was somewhere far away.
He was deep thinking of all the body beats that I do.
That's right. But no, I'm definitely that guy. I had so many comments to myself that were like, not even to that extent. They were like, make better. Or
honestly though, like I feel like, is there another way to bang out like 100,000 words in a month? Like you can't stop if you're going to get to that pace, right?
Yeah, exactly. I don't stop for anything. If I get stuck on a certain part, just leave it alone and
make better.
Add more later. I think I had one comment. Actually, now that I remember, one comment was like sucks or something like that. No other context.
Did future self agree with past self? Like when you read it, you're like, ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, future NJ was like, yeah, this really does. I'm just getting rid of this whole chapter. Like,
yeah, you know what? It's gonna make it go away.
Suddenly it's a 90,000 word book and it's better for it, right?
Right.
That's hilarious. Caden, are you a linear writer? Like, are you?
Yes, I'm very much a linear writer. I'll do occasional comments, and more so like if I'm like deep into a part, like I'm trying to stay focused, I'll just like make a little note. But what I'll do is like I don't deal with like if I have writer's block, which doesn't happen a lot, I'll jump to the next chapter because it's usually a different perspective. And then I'll just come back to that later. So I've had parts where I'm like writing 2 chapters at once. Same way that I edit, like I go through the story as it is, and I feel like I don't know if that's the best thing, but I do it. So
I'm the same boat. Like I'll get sometimes I'll have like a flash forward of like, oh, this is the next scene like 6 chapters from now. And like I'll write that and then like I'll continue in my linear fashion, and the editing I have to edit in a linear way because it's like I can't think outside of the path of the story for some reason.
Yeah, I feel that.
That makes sense. So, but Isaac, you said that you've already written some stuff for future books, right?
Oh yeah. So I just finished a novella, which I'm going to give away, a la everybody in indie right now, and then I have like a couple of generations down the line, another story started with 96,000 words done, but I've got like some really interesting feedback in the reviews that I've got so far over the last couple of weeks and today that people are really enjoying the character. And I started to think, well, you know, I might actually not skip generations, but write the stories of generations in between that link the family together. And so I've been toying with that today, and I think I'm going to do that. So I'm probably going to turn like 3 books into like 6. So here we are.
Yay, more books. So the original, obviously this is like a multi-generational story, but the original plan was like book 1 is about this character and this generation, and then book 2 is like next generation and that sort of thing, not with Captain Kirk, or sorry, Picard, not that next generation, this other generation.
No, I was going to skip like entire generations. So like the first story I ever wrote in the Sunborn series was about Dre, who is the main character of the Dragon Legion. It was about his great grandson. No, sorry, his grandson. And so I was going to like skip way past that to write the next book. And then I thought, why am I doing that? Like there's so much good stuff in between that I can talk about. Stories to tell.
Good, man. Yeah, if people are vibing with the characters, you gotta keep them characters, right? Yeah, but now you're adding 2 more books to the plan. Easy.
I think so. Why not? Easy. I've got my whole life to write them. So
love it. That's sick. That's pretty cool.
NJ, how many books do you have ready? Like, I gotta know. You just dropped that little tidbit in there.
It's just 4.
Okay. Oh, just 4.
My history is obnoxious. It's they're nowhere near ready, like publication ready. So it's gonna be a while until they actually see the light of day. But the first drafts are all written.
That's awesome.
I hope so. I haven't looked at them in a couple of years. I hope they're awesome.
I didn't think all that.
I know, like some people talk about how they love editing. Like I love first drafts because I feel like I write it and I'm like, oh, this is so good. But then I go back and edit later. I'm like, oh, well, this is horrible.
Yeah. Okay. Listen, I've had that, but I've also, and tell me, you had to have the moment where there's like a scene where you're like, ooh, I wrote that. Ooh. Is that not the best damn feeling, right?
Oh, it's the best.
Oh yeah,
it's so interesting because like you forget you wrote it, and you're like, look at that.
Right. What is better? I'm on Isaac and Caden and NJ in that order. What is better, when you yourself go back to a scene and you're like, ooh, that's good, or when you get like a really banging review? What feels better?
Reviews are new to me, so
yes, but you've got some.
So it's like I think they're both rewarding in different ways. So I like, first and foremost, I love writing, and like I love storytelling. So like that is the most rewarding part for me. Having somebody enjoy that storytelling is like just indescribably cool.
Yeah.
Can't even, like, it's so fresh to me that I can't even, I don't know how I feel about it yet, but it's pretty freaking cool.
It's pretty freaking cool. Caden, what do you think?
I do like I really love when you feel like you wrote something worthy, but I think it's the reviews for me. Just having that validation, because I feel like I always have self-doubt. And especially when you get bad reviews, or not even bad reviews, just ones that are like mediocre, just kind of saying that, I mean, there's a difference between like a 1 star that you're like, okay, this person, it didn't click with them at all.
Yeah.
Versus like a 3 star that just kind of like hits a bunch of things that like pokes your weaknesses. And like, if people are like, oh, characters fall flat, they all feel the same. And then when you get a 5-star review and someone's like, I love the character arcs, they felt so real, just to feel that like, oh, okay, I've got some skill, it's pleasing to some people. And I think it's just nice to have like the validation. It's something that has helped me in all points of my life, but we feel validated. I just really like that.
Yeah. NJ.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to agree with both Isaac and Caden. It's probably the reviews for me. However, I'll put a slightly different spin on it. Maybe not an official publicized public review, but one of my favorite things is when somebody comments on a scene, a line that I don't really think about a lot. We all have those scenes where we're like, yeah, I wrote that. That scene rocks. But then there's some other scenes that maybe you forget about or you don't think much about. Then someone comes along and says, dude, I really loved that chapter. And you're like, oh, no one's ever complimented that chapter before. I've never really thought that much about that chapter before. Maybe it's, I don't know. To me, it's nice when people notice the things that maybe you hadn't noticed.
Yeah.
It's kind of a review, but
Right.
That's what I think. Yeah. I won't ramble anymore. I like that.
No. I think that's really good. I've had that happen just a little bit in my writing group, and that is like a really good feeling when you're like, yeah, there's this, this thing over here that you're like, oh, that's the thing, and then they're like, actually, you did really good over here, and you're like, oh, well, I guess I did, maybe, yeah, maybe I know what I'm doing, huh?
Right.
Yeah, I had like a comment. I saw a booktuber was like, oh, this looks interesting when I did my cover reveal. He's like, a legion of criminals? And he's the prince? How does that work? And I was like,
well,
that's my favorite part.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah,
that's
like the little features that like you maybe don't think about, and you're like, wait a minute, yeah, that is cool. Like that's a really interesting kind of connection to a reader, right?
Yeah.
It's always cool seeing what readers relate to or what they connect to. Typically, it's not something you ever would have given any thought.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah. One of these days I'm going to put a workout in the world and experience these things myself. But
you better get on that, Nick. Okay.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Listen, not all of us have 4 fucking books in our back pocket, all right? Like
want one? I'm sure one of them's trash. You can fix it.
Here, have a trash. You can just work with it. That's funny. So Isaac, Dragon Legion is out right now, but right now I think it's only ebook, right?
Oh yeah, the old Ingram Sparks classic. So like I went Kindle Unlimited for the ebook, enrolled in the Select program, and the ebook is now available on Amazon. But Ingram had these huge delays, and I was messaging the break-ins, and they're like, something's wrong. You really need to contact help and support. I was like, ooh. So I got a note today. It's being shipped from the US. I'm in Canada. Who knows? Might get stopped in customs, might not. Might make it to my host, might not. Notoriously bad postal system sometimes. So whenever I get that and it looks good, I'll enable distribution.
Okay. All right. So we're getting there. Just yeah. Gotta wait on that proof.
Are you, and so like, is your gents experience that like Ingram is just a higher quality than Amazon currently, and that's why a lot of people do it? Or
so I have mine on both Amazon and Ingram.
Oh,
if that makes sense. I have paperbacks available on both, mostly through Ingram for bookstore purposes, because typically a bookstore they're not going to order through Amazon anyway. But this is a me thing. I like dust jacketed hardcovers, and Ingram does that. I know other sources do it too. A lot of people hate Ingram. They've been okay for me, but I don't know. I wanted a place that does dust jacketed hardcovers. Unfortunately, Amazon doesn't. So I figured if I'm gonna have a hardcover on Ingram, I might as well put the paperback up there too.
Yeah.
What is the point of a dust jacket? I don't get it.
They look good.
They look sick. Like they're awesome.
They're the floppy mess that's around. They're like extra packaging. Like,
did you do the print on the cover and dust jackets? I think I saw something something the other day.
Yeah, like have you seen how they look, Isaac?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, like I really like it. So I initially did just the digital cloth that like I was expecting it to be like, when you open a book and it's like an actual cloth. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. But it was like a fake cloth. Like it was just a weird matte finish. But like, I don't know. I just think there's something, because when I showed that off, people were like, oh, are you going to do like not like the textless? And so like, that's what I did. And I just love that. Like, you can just like put that on the shelf like that. And it's, I don't know, it's cool. But like, I get the dust jackets are nice on the shelf. But if I buy a hardback and I'm like taking it to read it with me, no way I'm bringing that dust jacket with me. Because it's just going to get like shredded.
Step one, take it off.
Yeah.
No way.
Then what's the point? Yeah.
Look good. What are you
They're
talking
shelf candy. That's
Listen.
the point.
Mhm.
Listen,
about?
I want my hardcover to look like this. This is
That's
what a
pretty sad.
hardcover should look like.
Nick,
You know?
You'll have to
So
support
there's-
my Kickstarter for me to
Alright.
afford that.
Listen, you make one that looks like this, and you got my support. You got my
Old
support.
back club here. Oh,
Yeah, I do
that's
like-
the thing.
The sleeve you got is pretty slick too. I mean, if you're gonna like, why have a dust jacket when a sleeve can be a thing?
Yeah,
know,
and like that's the
philosophy.
thing that I'm realizing. There's certain books that just because they're only hardback or paperback, if I love them so much, I want them on my shelf. But, like my shelf's getting big enough that I think I want just like just the nicer versions of ones, and I'm not ready to dish out like hundreds of dollars for all the Sanderson books. But that's why like I went with this one and like occasional, especially indie ones. Like having an indie leather bound is so cool, and
Right?
Yeah, that's a fair
I'm just
point.
there for that.
So, like, are
Yeah.
you guys going to film in the lair later this week? Is that you gonna finally release that?
Yeah.
Let people know.
Caden, you and Sando right in the lair.
I don't know. We'll see. That man, we'll see if that man ever hits me up. If
Yeah.
no, I could. I mean, I am very fortunate just to be close to him, but
Right?
Oh,
Uh,
I'm total
That's kinda
fan. I'm
cheap.
totally fanboy over like your Utah connections. Like I see
yeah.
it, and I want to shout with glee. I'm so excited. I'm like, what?
NJ, if you haven't followed Caden on like Instagram, you got to do it because every once in a while he just he wedding crashed Sando's class and just like got a picture with Sando,
I
and
saw
then-
that.
I gave him my book. Yep.
and then he reached out to like that Moon's Rare Books. And like literally Moon's Rare Books was like, look at these cool like editions I have of Lord of the Rings, and then the next post is like, and I'm giving away Caden Love's Elegy of a Fragmented Vineyard. You know?
I got like 400 followers from that, and so
That's
I don't know
incredible.
if I really got any sales. Maybe like they trickled in later, but I don't
Still,
know.
I mean, just
fun.
like the
Yeah.
exposure and the experience. I think it's like
Yeah.
you could later be like, yeah, he was showing like
That's awesome.
these historic books and whatnot, and then he showed my novel.
Yeah. And like I don't know if any of you have heard the rumors about like the Sanderson land.
Yeah,
So like
but I
in
see
quick-
like Isaac and NJ going like,
yes, there's a
"What?"
place called Evermore here that was like they tried to make it like a D&D experience where you could go and do quests and stuff.
Imagine what is it, LARPing? Imagine
it's-
like a Disneyland for LARPers. That's
And
sort of
it's
what
like-
yeah.
It's decently small, but like it just hasn't done really well. And someone
Surprisingly, I mean, LARPing is so popular.
Hmm.
Yeah. And someone dug up, like my younger brother did it. He's a huge D&D guy, and he went and did it and had fun. And I don't know, it just didn't really like click super well for some reason. And someone found that Sanderson or like Dragonsteel had acquired the land there.
Oh,
Oh.
no.
And so there's people being like, oh, this is gonna be Cosmere land. Well, that's literally right across the street where I used to work at like at a call center. So I saw the place all the time.
I'm so excited for you. Like you're gonna be the general manager. I already know.
Right?
You're gonna be the general.
Like, have any of you seen The Doll Makers? It's an upcoming book. I saw it because Patrick Leo reviewed it and liked it. But when we went to Sanderson's class, we actually met the author of that there. She was a BYU graduate as well, but she does something for Dragonsteel, like works in like their art directing department. So I'm like,
That's cool.
you know, I've got a decent job, but like, what does a man have to do? Just get like a random day job at Dragonsteel? Like, there's got to be a way. Come on, just
I
do
mean,
that and write on the side.
a lot.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I
Yeah.
don't
So
know.
we'll never. And maybe with Sanderson here, if Broken Binding ever decides to expand to the U.S., maybe they'll settle here in Utah and work our way
that
there.
would be so. So I don't know if he's gonna do like the Cosmere land with Evermore, but he is doing that Dragonsteel HQ, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
NJ, go ahead. Have you heard of this, NJ?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, you want to tell him about Dragonsteel HQ, Caden?
Yeah, so at least what I know, at the Dragonsteel convention, he had like a store inside there that was set up, and it just like looked super pretty. Had all his special editions for sale there, and I was talking to one of like his artists not too long ago, and she was like selling there just as an artist, and she said like basically the most of the convention was people waiting in line to get into the store. And I know that people like he just talked about having that like a Dragonsteel store, which it'd be kind of like a destination store for a lot of people, and like of course here it just sell like crazy.
So he keeps doing the Kickstarters, and he's got all this distribution. He's got his own warehouse and whatever. He's like he's got the podcast and like his editorial style. It's a freaking operation now, right? And he's kind of outgrowing like his secret lair that's next to his house with this operation. So they're like, we need a headquarters, but they're thinking of building not only like kind of a headquarters and an office for him and his staff, but also make it like a destination and a fantasy bookstore, like a top tier like bookstore where you could come in and get fantasy books, of course his books, his special editions, all the stuff that he sells at like the cons and that sort of thing. But then there would be storefronts that could be leased out by other folks, right? But man, yeah, Broken Binding, I know that they're looking for a warehouse space in the US. I've heard that anyway. I guess it's a rumor, but
if that
would be
Sullivan, they'll end up with him.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think that's Sullivan. That would be good too.
Where a really cheap place to set up business is right here in Massachusetts. Of course.
Is it? Yeah. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Not sure if Boston is that cheap, right? But
I don't know. Maine's like origin down in Maine is really going wild. Like they're really bringing manufacturing back. So
that's true.
Yeah.
You go to Maine.
Yeah.
Stephen King country.
Stephen King. Yeah. Right. Have you ever gone like I've heard that like Stephen King still goes to like the same like coffee or NJ? Like I don't know how far it is from you, but like, have you stalked Stephen King? Is what I'm asking.
Have I stalked Stephen King? Okay,
directly
no. Directly no, but I know he did occasionally go to Fenway. Like he occasionally.
Oh really?
Stalks games.
Nice.
So I would like look around and see.
Like who's here?
There. There's a lot of people there, so.
Right.
I think he's Stephen King land in Maine, I think is like it's a few hours north in Maine. So it's not at least I think it's near Bangor.
I think so.
Because I was in Boston like a month ago and I was like, oh wait, Stephen King's from Maine. And so I was looking at a bunch of like places and then like I looked at the house and it's like a bunch of hours away and it's like, I kind of want to go. Not that bad.
Yeah.
When you're driving from Nova Scotia, where I am, down to Boston, where we have some friends, you kind of end up driving by that area, and it's always like I always think like this gonna sound horrible. Like, where did he get hit? Like, there's his house. Like, it's like, man, the darkness associated with that story, and like, oh, it's just like, man, this it's this spooky highway.
So. I see you going, what? Like Stephen King got hit by a van. And it was, I think it almost took him out,
Oh, horrible. And like, here's the really creepy part. Like he talks about it in On Writing and he's like, he has like, he says he like comes to, and if I'm remembering correctly, this guy's like, it's okay. Like this older gentleman that had hit him is like, it's okay. And like he's talking to his two dogs as well, who are like named like Bullet and Caliber. Like it's like this like ode of a Stephen King story. It's but it's like that's the kind of thing, like those highways, like all I can think are Stephen King stories and like his life. And I'm like, man, don't drive through here at dark. Like it's a scary place.
Right?
Yeah.
All right.
I really need to read that one. That's been on my TBR for way too long.
I was just perfect segue. I was gonna, and Isaac, you were talking about kind of earlier when your wife was like, well, let's get on with writing the book, right? Then you kind of dove into like some craft studies. What were some of your favorite craft books, Isaac? Or was it not books? Was it? I mean, you probably saw the Sando lectures because I think everyone in the indie book space has seen the Sando lectures, right?
Yeah, like my journey of writing books and writing information started with On Writing. I've got an old beat up copy that like has been passed around my friends who write. My friend Jason and I, we lived together for a little while, and like he read it after I read it. He actually published a book like shortly after that, and I took like, I don't know, a decade. But after that, I I bought No Plot, No Problem from like a little indie bookstore in Halifax. It was from the creators of NaNoWriMo, the actual founder. He wrote a book about how to write a book.
Nice.
And on the list goes of different books. I found the Sando lectures, self-publishing podcast, writing excuses, like just full tilt into all the different writing content and YouTubers about writing. Just
Nice.
for years, just didn't stop. Took it all in, and then at one point it was like, all right, time to pull the trigger, do it myself.
Right. Which one of the different things that you've consumed, which one has been like your favorite to consume, but then separate question, like the one that you think is the most helpful?
Oh, that's
because I think writing excuses is one of my absolute favorite to consume, but and it's fantastic, don't get me wrong, but I don't necessarily think that that's like the most helpful thing that I've ever consumed,
So I would split what we do into craft, storytelling, writing, editing, and business. And so I think from a business perspective, the most informative have been Self-Publishing Podcast, Writers Inc., and a little bit of Sando, like at the end of Sando when he's talking about the most recent 2020s or 2021s. And then on writing, and then some of the interviews about craft on Self-Publishing Podcast and business have been helpful, like in combination, because you get kind of both on there.
Nice. What about NJ? What's some of your favorite craft stuff? Are you like, I don't do craft stuff, I just sit down for a month and I bang it out,
Favorite craft stuff? Maybe the mac and cheese. Sorry, that's a terrible joke.
No, it's the Patriots.
How did I not say that? And I'm in Massachusetts. Wow.
You're welcome. I saved
That's
you.
wild.
You got you.
Anyway, so favorite craft things. I think. Okay. This is for anybody watching this. Either maybe he's going to read my book and say, "Yeah, that makes sense." But I have not read a craft book. Just not something I did.
Okay.
So. But I have watched a lot of, obviously, the Sanderson lectures. I've listened to a lot of podcasts. My craft experience comes from really screwing it up 10 years ago and then just doing it better now and learning from all the mistakes I made.
Yeah. Well,
That's been my craft book.
There's no substitute for experience,
Yeah. Unfortunately, I've had a lot of it. So there we go.
Yeah. Caden, what about you? Favorite craft sources you learned from besides when you crashed Sando's actual lecture?
Yeah, that's definitely the most helpful. I really liked the Neil Gaiman masterclass.
Oh.
I had that for a little bit, and I did a little bit of the Margaret Atwood, N.K. Jemisin. I did hers. They're like hers and Neil Gaiman's were the only really like sci-fi fantasy ones. And like I haven't read craft books either. Like I've read some small ones. I did kind of minor in creative writing in college. I took a couple creative writing classes and started that path. And then I was like, this is dumb. I'm writing garbage stuff when I could just write my own things and I'm not learning anything. And so I turned away from that. And mostly what I did when I was really trying to find my style is the authors that I was really enjoying at that time, I would just look up like interviews with them talking about it. So lots of like looking up George R. R. Martin and Patrick Rothfuss, but I promise I'll finish my books. And yeah, things like that.
Right. Go.
And Stephen King as well. Like, like I said, I planned on reading On Writing for a long time, but just listening to like interviews, things like that, where they talk about it. Yeah.
I will caveat mine actually. So I kind of like categorize this in my brain as like more philosophy, but it is about writing, would be Stephen Pressfield. So like I own, I think all of his craft books. So the War of Art and Do the Work, Turning Pro, Government Cheese, which is like about his memoir, like unbelievable informative, interesting stories and philosophy about writing. So it doesn't tell you like, hey, you have to sit down and you have to make sure that you capitalize this. It's the philosophy behind like resistance, that thing we feel when we sit down and we look at a page and we go, ooh, how do I do this? It's the fear you feel about the imposter syndrome, all of that he categorizes as resistance and talks about how we deal with it philosophically as artists. And it's amazing. Blew my socks off.
Wow. That's awesome. I have to check that out.
He's like, I should read a fucking book. I
would highly recommend
What
it.
concept?
I've read that his War of Art probably 6 or 7 times. Like every time I want to create something new, I'm like, all right, let's go back to basics.
I love that. That's awesome.
That's rad. Yeah, man, I got on writing.
Ah, there we go. Nice.
I'm thinking I would like to do some sort of regular YouTube style videos that are about some different pieces of like craft stuff and talk about like what I pull out of it and learn from it. And I might even maybe talk to some writers I know to be featured in some of these videos too.
Oh, craft, I think it's so much fun to talk about because you can just learn so much from each other.
Right.
Like tidbits you give each other, and it's just so helpful, right? And some other writer will listen to it and they'll go, oh yeah, that'll help me.
Right.
Yeah. We all have different skills. You always helping each other.
Yep. That's the beauty of writers. Or you can be like Stephen King and want revenge on that freaking car. Was pissed when the car got scrapped because he wanted to destroy it himself. That's so metal. I love that.
Did he actually buy it and destroy it himself?
I think what he's saying is that he wanted to, but
I think he may have.
That would be.
Gotta put that up. That's awesome.
That'd be amazing. That's
it was like it's such a dark thing, and he talks about it like in such a real way that you've like just the empathy you feel. It's like you're like, oh.
Man, this book was so interesting because it's so like autobiographical in addition to like so much of the craft, which was I don't know how much of that he figured, man, you know what, if I only talk craft, I don't know if I'm going to sell many books, but if I kind of, tell a little bit about myself, maybe I'll sell more. I don't know if that was the calculus, but it worked. It worked.
Mm-hmm. And the one thing that I like wish when I had first read it that I took from it was that you just write all the time. Like in whatever way, like NJ writes in spurts and Caden writes daily. It's like you just keep doing that for your life, and that's how you get good at it. No tricks, no secret.
That's right. Just gotta keep doing it and do it the way that works for you.
Yeah,
it's lovely. I think that's a pretty good place to end our chat for tonight. I think.
Well,
Isaac, congratulations, dude. Good job. Did you sell any books while we're talking?
Jack, but I don't know.
Welcome to the obsessive KDP.
Right.
Borg.
I had to change my categories because I was like in some of the wrong categories. I was like, I think the algorithm is just going to drop me in about 4 minutes here.
Oh, it's such a pain. I hate categories. Amazon just kind of does whatever it wants now.
No.
I know, like, you guys know Amber Toro? She keeps getting hers in like sci-fi erotica.
Oh, I saw that. That was really funny.
It's just like, at least I'm not there. Like, mine isn't horror, but I keep getting in like dark fantasy horror, and I'm like, okay, whatever, I don't care.
Yeah. There's not much else you can do. It's all algorithmic, right? I don't think anyone at Amazon actually does anything.
Yeah.
They do what they want. The Zon.
It's just Bezos raking in money and then like a bunch of poor people packing boxes. That's it. Everything else is algorithmic.
Everything else is
I can't wait to see Isaacs as #1 in Dragon Erotica.
Is there a way we can make that happen? Hold on. That'll be a way we can influence this.
I take it.
Yeah, right. Let's do it. Come on, viewers.
Is that category Dragon Erotica? If it's not, it's not.
I think Fourth Wing made it that category, right?
There you go. See, Fourth Wing.
Everyone else is going to be chasing that New York Times bestselling that Fourth Wing got, and they'll be like, "All right, I figured it out." Right. Anyway, all right, Isaac. Where can people find and follow you online, and where can they pick up Dragon Legion?
So it is Isaac Hill Author on Twitter, Instagram, and my website, isaachillauthor.com. It is up on Amazon as an ebook. You can buy right now, and hopefully the paperbacks will be prepared and ready for next Tuesday when I talk with Mike.
Nice.
Awesome.
Since you fine folks are here too, Caden, where can people find and follow you online?
CadenRlove.com or at CadenLoveAuthor on like anything.
On anything. All right, cool.
Not
NJ, where can...
MySpace.
not MySpace. Not Grindr. No.
Nick.
Like, maybe.
Oh my gosh.
Oh boy. Nice. NJ, how can people find you on Grindr? No, I'm just kidding.
How did this turn?
My fiance is listening. I'm not on Grindr. Okay?
Oh my goodness. This is the R.R. Verdi school of
Grindr.
All right, anyway, where you can find me not on Grindr is at Nick_A_writes. Kind of like Caden said, everywhere, every social media, my username's the same. And or njalexander.com is my website.
Lovely. All right. And if you're here, go get Isaac's book. You're gonna love it. It's Braveheart and French Foreign Legion. Who doesn't want that? You know you want that, you know? Yeah, right?
I know I'm gonna get it right after this talk.
There we go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There we go. And yeah, you can please give me that like and subscribe on YouTube. I appreciate that. You can check on my Patreon. I've got a link in the description. It's patreon.com/Nicholas W. Fuller. It's all free. Just basically treating it like a newsletter for now, but that will change at some point. I'll have some cool stuff there eventually. And thanks for hanging out. Thanks you three. Appreciate you being here. Thanks. Thanks,
Forever
Tim.
Grateful. Appreciate
Thanks,
your time,
dude.
and having me on, man.
My
And to
pleasure.
you gentlemen as well.
My pleasure. And if no one's told you today, you're an absolute legend.